As I've been publishing Project Zomboid videos, I found myself often criticizing short blades, the Axeman trait, and the burglar occupation. As a matter of fact, I have dedicated content on my channel where I test the credibility of short blades and the Axeman trait. Be that as it may, I decided to test my views of the burglar in a controlled environment via debug mode. I wanted to see if I was wrong, because I don't want to be wrong any longer than I have to be. So the question remains, is the burglar a great occupation or is it a scam? As per usual, I set up a survivor with default stats and compared said survivor to one with the burglar's default stats. The burglar starts off with 2 levels in sneaking, light-footed, and nimble. This occupation also comes with the unique trait of being able to hotwire cars from the start, along with the less notable ability of being able to open windows better. And you get all of this for the cost of starting with -6 trait points. Let's start off by testing the best aspect of the burglar occupation, being the nimble skill boost. Starting at level 2 in nimble will grant you a noticeable buff to combat movement speed when compared to the default stat of level 0. You will still be slower than fast shamblers when moving backwards, but you'll have to readjust your footing less often. And being able to level this skill up faster than normal is an incredibly valuable asset. But if you're concerned about nimble, you can always just pick the police officer, which gives you better level bonuses as aiming and reloading is more useful than sneaking and light-footed. Also remember that the police officer leaves you with more trait points to work with, the difference allowing you to better afford solid traits like dexterous, outdoorsman, cat's eyes, and wakeful. And if you like fast reader, then you can also add that to the list. Furthermore, you can always add the gymnast trait and or the fast learner trait to any occupation, which will allow you to level this skill more effectively. I should also mention that level 1 in nimble isn't that much different than level 2. So all things considered, the best aspect of the burglar doesn't justify picking the burglar. But what about the ability to hotwire cars without leveling mechanics and electronics? If you pick the mechanic, you will only need to level electrical by 1 level to hotwire vehicles. You'll also gain a level in short blunts, which is the most common weapon type in the game. In addition to this, you'll be able to work on any vehicle type without having to read auto magazines. And all of this for only -4 trait points. Getting to level 1 in electrical is also pretty easy. Dismantling antique TVs, standard TVs, and premium TVs will grant you 0.5 experience points to the electrical skill. The same goes for radios and digital watches. Radios can easily be found in cars and you can remove them with a screwdriver. Digital watches can easily be found on dead Zeds. Without an XP multiplier, it will require you to dismantle 150 of the aforementioned devices. But if you've read the appropriate skill book, it would take you 50 devices. And if you add Fast Learner, which ought to be a staple for any serious survivor build, it'll take even less devices. All of this could be done in less than an in-game day with some dedication. And just like that, you have the same ability as the burglar, with the addition of being better with short blunts and also having the knowledge to work on any vehicle type, without having to hunt down those pesky skill magazines. But what is often not considered is the mere fact that finding keys for a car isn't difficult with standard loot settings. I found a decent car with keys in just 2 days during my month survival guide for beginners. Speaking of decent cars, hot wiring is a worthless skill if you can't find good cars at all. You also don't always need to find a car on day 1. Is it helpful? Sure, but that benefit disappears the very minute you find your first car with keys. It really isn't worth -6 trait points. When testing the benefits of sneaking and light-footed, it's rather clear that they aren't super effective if the zombies actually see you. Sneaking should lower the distance that Zeds can spot you, but at level 2, it won't be helpful if you're near them. The same goes for light-footed in terms of the noise you make while walking or jogging. So clearly the boosts to sneaking and light-footed are dead weight. Overall, the burglar is a scam at -6 trait points. You'll get more from better occupations. While some would recommend the burglar to beginners, I personally don't do that because it doesn't teach them core fundamentals. In fact, it teaches some bad habits. That being said, the burglar can be useful for very specific challenges, and I'll never deny that. But generally speaking, the burglar is a scrub trap. And no, I don't care if you use a specific mod that makes the occupation better. I can do that with every other occupation under the sun. it's not a worthwhile point to mention. Anyways, that concludes this gold standard Project Zomboid video. If you enjoy this sort of content, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to smash that notification icon so that you may be notified when I publish a new video. Oh, and don't forget to remember that you may opine anytime if you feel so inclined down in the comments section. I'm Captain Gold, and I hope to see you in my next video.